Hey guys, welcome to another very beautiful section of web tutorials, thoughts of this side. So guys, today we are going to design a very amazing CSS loading animation. As you can see these 5 balls starting from a different location and ending at a different location, and in between that they are rotating on a different scale, okay, on a random scale. Okay, so that's what we are going to design today, this beautiful looking loading animation. So for that, what we need is basically just 2 text documents, that is the index.html for containing our HTML elements, and secondly for styling the elements we need this .css extension text documents, that is the style.css. So guys, starting with the index.html. So for that let's start coding, guys. So for that, just in the Visual Studio Code section, just press shift and exclamation mark and press tab, so that it gives you the exact template that you need for your web page. Okay, so all you need to do is just rename your title that you want. So we want this to be known as the loading animation. Okay, and secondly I want it to link it with the style.css. So it's now linked with the cascading style sheet. Now guys, moving towards the body section, what we need is first of all a container div. So we'll write div dot container. This will give us a container div, and underneath that we need this now loading section. So for that we'll use the paragraph attribute, and under that we'll write now loading, and we'll give 3 dots. Okay, so moving on to the circles now, guys. So for that we need 5 circles, and we'll give all of them the class of circle, and we'll give them individual IDs, that is circle 1, circle 2, circle 3, and so on. Okay, so this will go on for 5 circles. Okay, so first of all we need is the circle div. Okay, so this one is it, and an ID of, let's say, circle 1. Okay, so that is it. We'll let the div stay closed, and what we'll do is just copy this whole line over here and just paste it again, paste it. Okay, now this is, I guess, 5 times. So yeah, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Just save it. Okay, so this is it, what we are going to do in the HTML section. Okay, now moving on towards the styling part, just open it with the live server, and as you can see we just have this now loading section. Okay, so let's move on to the styling part. In the styling part, let's style the universal codes first. So for that we'll use this star code, and underneath that we'll set the margin to be 0, and again that padding to be 0, and lastly box sizing to be border box. Okay, now let's style the body part. Okay, so for that we'll say body, and we want this background to be #37474 and F. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so now moving on towards the container, that is dot container. Okay, just push it up a little bit, and what we want is margin to be 0 and auto. Secondly, width of the container to be around, let's say, 300 pixel, and its margin top, let's say 250 pixels, that would do. And margin left would let's say 600 pixels. Okay, so that would do for the container. Now moving on towards the paragraph attribute. So what we need is first of all set the color, that is yellow. So for that we will use the hex codes. And secondly, what we want is the font size. Okay, so the font size let's say 20 pixel. And font family we want is Poppins. Okay, Poppins, and that too in sans serif. Okay, one thing I forgot, guys. Let's import the fonts first. Okay, so for that we will go to Google Fonts website, and from there we will import the Poppins fonts. Okay, so this is how you can import any font you want in the Google font library. Okay, so just select the style and select whatever font property you want. Okay, and then go to the embed and then at import, just copy this portion over here and go back to your text editor, just paste it on the top. Yeah, just make it view to word wrap. That is it, and your fonts are now available in the CSS format. Okay, so now second thing, I want to set its position to absolute. Okay, absolute. And after that I want it to stay away from top for about 350 pixels, and from left to about the same as the container, that is 600 pixels. Okay, so now let's move on towards the circle. Okay guys, it's very easy. It's just the roll of the animation that takes place. Okay, so for the circles, first of all we will set its height to, let's say, 30 pixels, and width also to be 30 pixel. Secondly, I want a margin between the circles, that is, let's say, 5 pixel, and position also to absolute. Okay, now let's say let's set its position to relative so that it stays in the container where we want it. Okay, secondly, I want to set its background color first. Background color, let's say the orange one. So for that we'll use the hex codes FF6FF00. Okay, so the orange color comes up, and let's style the animation part. So for that let's name it as my animation, my anim, and I want it to never end. So for that I'll use the infinite property, and the duration will be 2 seconds, and the animation will be ease in out. Okay, so that is it. Secondly, I want to transform its origin from the center. Okay, so for that I'll use the transform origin property. Transform origin, that is center, and after that I want its border radius to be 50% so that it looks like a circle. Border radius 50%, and lastly I want to display it as block. So we'll say display and block. Let's say inline block so that it stays in the line, right? So just now go back to your text editor and see how it has turned out to be. So yeah, you just don't need to refresh it because it's live right now. So these are the 5 balls and this is our text. Okay, so now coming back to our text editor, moving on to the circle IDs. Yeah, so for that just write the circle 2, and in that we want the animation delay of let's say 0.15 seconds. Okay, 0.15 seconds. Okay, and this is the same thing that we are going to do with the others as well. So just copy it and paste it and paste it again. Yeah, so this is circle 2 and this is circle 3. The same is going to happen with circle 4 and lastly the circle 5. Now let's set the delay. So for that let's increase the 0.15 seconds, so 30 and 0.45 and 0.60 seconds. Okay, now let's complete this animation part with the animation property, that is keyframes, and the name of the animation, that is my animation. So yeah, at 0% we want is the background color to stay as it is, that is ff6 ff0. okay, sorry, what was this, f00, right? And after that we want its transformation to rotate 270 degrees, and I want to also change its position. So for that I'll use translate y to, let's say 0 pixels for now, and after that at 50% what I want is to change its background color, the ball's background color, okay, to, let's say ff0400, okay, to some kind of reddish color. Okay, and what I want is to transform, and at what degrees, so rotate it at, let's do this 0 and rotate this at 270 degrees. Okay, so 270 degrees, and also translate y to, let's say minus 90 pixels. Okay, now at 100% what we want is to change the color back to orange. Okay, so for that you background color, okay, f, yeah, here it is, and lastly transform to rotate 0 degree, and translate y to back to 0 pixel. Okay, translate y back to 0 pixel, save it and go back. So here it is, the animation taking place. As you can see, both the animations are same. Yeah, so I guess you guys would have liked this animation of mine and also would have clicked on the subscribe button. So that is it in this section, guys. Hope you guys would recommend this animation to your friends who are into web developing. And yep, that is it in this section, and hope to see you in the next video, guys. Thank you.